Hello, Ballington scientists and engineers. Before we get started on our science experiment for today, I wanted to remind you about your projectile launchers. I need them by tomorrow evening, so that you can be included on our video on Friday. So let's get to our science experiment. My question for you for this science experiment is, what do you think is the fastest way to empty out water from a bottle? Now here I have a glass bottle, but I'm just talking in general, any bottle. So before we keep going, go ahead and talk with someone near you. What do you think is the best way to empty out a water bottle or a bottle of any kind? Go ahead and talk like that. Oh, some water in there still. This. Give you that time to talk. Okay, so there's probably a lot of different ways that we can empty out this water bottle. Some of the ways that we're not going to empty out the water bottle is by breaking the bottle or by cutting the bottle. Cutting, you might be able to do that with a plastic bottle, but we don't want to worry about that. And I don't want to have to clean up broken glass everywhere. So those are two options we're not going to do. But what we are going to do, we're going to try three things. There are three ways that I came up with. So way number one. So you just go straight down, see how that goes. So we fill it up with water, just let it all out. The second way is I am going to be tilting the water bottle. So I'm going to try to make sure, go at a good pace to try to get as much water out as possible. And then until it's all the way empty. Now a third way, I was able to find this out online, is you can actually spin this bottle and it helps get all the water out. So those are my three ways I'm going to try. I'm going to try like that. I'm going to try tilting and spinning. What do you think? Which one of those three ways would be the fastest way to empty out this bottle, or any bottle for that matter? All right, now I'm going to go down to my kitchen and I'm going to test it out. Here we are in my kitchen and we have all the things we need to do this science experiment. So you actually only need three things for this experiment today. So we first need a source of water, then we need a place for the water to drain, and we need a bottle. So that's all you need. If you'd like to try this at home, feel free to try this at home. You have you get your bottle, get somewhere to drain all the water so you don't make a mess, and see which ways could be fastest of emptying out this bottle. Now, just like with our rocket experiment a couple weeks ago, I'm going to use a timer with the video so that we're going to see how long it takes, and we can use that timer to know which one was the fastest. Also, to help me out, I'm actually going to do each trial 3 times. So I'm going to flip it over 3 times, then we're going to do the tilting 3 times, and we're going to do the spinning 3 times. So this will help me be able to get the average. And I will talk about calculating the average and what the average is for. I'll talk about that a little later in the video. But first, let's get to our experiment. So, last thing is I want to make sure the amount of water I put in here is consistent, because if I put less water for one thing and then put more water for the other one, it's gonna mess up my times, and it's gonna be like, oh, of course, the one that has less water is gonna take less to drain. So I'm gonna fill it up each time all the way to this white line there. So here we go. Test 1 for our completely vertical test. Here we go. Now, if you notice, it's like kind of glugging on its way down. It has oxygen that's trying to get in there, and it has the water that's trying to get out. Especially because this is a glass bottle. This bottle, unlike a plastic bottle, isn't going to try to, can't squish or anything like that. So by putting it out like this specifically, the water going down is fighting with the air going up, and you kind of get that glugging happening because the two are trying to fight. One's trying to get in, one's trying to get out, and it's just that's what happens. So that was test number 1. Let's try test number 2. There we go. So test number 2. All right, and now we're gonna go for test number 3. Test number 3. All right, so that was our first method. Here I'm gonna fill up the water, and we're gonna then try our tilting method and see if that is faster. So now we're doing our first tilt test. Now when I'm tilting, I'm kind of trying to mitigate that fighting between the water and the oxygen, but it doesn't seem like I'm doing a great job here. There we go. So, test number 2. It's kind of hard to do. There we go. Oh. All right, so that was our second test. Here's our third test. Third tilting test. There we go. All right, so that was our third tilting test. Now let's do our twisting method. Now I saw this one online and thought it'd be kind of interesting to try it out. First try of our spinning test. Here we go. Oh. All right, so you see how that happened? So we were spinning it and it made a little tornado go on inside, and we didn't have that kind of glugging happen because it's both mixing the air and the water in there, and it's allowing air to go in and water to go out kind of at the same time. So as our first test, let me try it again. All right, attempt number 2. Let's see if I can get faster. There we go. So it's kind of interesting. Most of the other ones seem like it's going faster as the bottle is more empty, but this tornado seems like it's going slower the more water comes out. It like slows down. But in just a bit, we'll see which one was the fastest. We'll compare the times and we'll see. All right, so this is our third one. There we go. And so that is all our tests. In just a bit, we'll go and measure all the times and see which one was fastest at emptying out this water bottle. But before I do that, I'm gonna have to clean up all this water that's all around here, because if it gets some around, as you notice when you're kind of spinning around, it makes the water go everywhere. So make sure to clean up if you do spill anything out there, and we'll be out there in just a moment. We have now gotten all our data. So now let's examine the data and see what we can figure out about which method is fastest at emptying out this water bottle. I talked about getting the average earlier. Now the average is kind of like the middle of a group of numbers. And there's different ways to calculate the middle of a group of numbers, but the average is when you add up all the numbers in a group and then you divide by the number of the numbers in that group. So for our example, we did each method three times. So we have 3 numbers. We're gonna add those 3 numbers up, and then we're gonna divide by 3 because we have 3 numbers. Now this is not the case for all the averages. So for example, if I had 10 numbers in a group, I would add those 10 numbers up, and then I would divide by 10. So for our case right here, we're only divided by 3 because we have 3 numbers. So for our first method, which was just straight downwards, we got the times of 13.21, 13.96, and 12.97. Now, we add those 3 numbers up and we get 40.14. And then we take that number, divide it by 3, and we get 13.38 seconds. So that was our first method. Our second method, we got 15.27, 16.23, and 15.80. We add all those up and we get 47.3, and then we divide it by 3 and we get 15.77. And our last method, the one where we did all the twisting and we got those cool tornadoes, we got 7.67 seconds, 7.67 seconds again, and 7.03 seconds. So we add those all up and we get 22.37, and we get our average of 7.43. So here are the 3 averages for the time it took for each one of the methods to drain a bottle. Go ahead and talk with someone near you about how we can use these numbers to tell us which method was the fastest at draining a bottle. Go ahead and talk now. So here's what I learned by looking at the data. So first, I was surprised. I thought my tilting method would be faster than just going straight down, because I thought if I could control it, I would be able to make it more efficient, but that was not the case. And second, I learned that the fastest way of these 3 methods is by twisting the bottle, because the time we got there was the shortest. We got 7.46 seconds for twisting, while the other 2 got 13.38 and 15.77, which tells us that the twisting method was the fastest, plus it was the most fun to do and got us the ability to see a cool tornado. I hope you've enjoyed our science experiment video today. I will see you on Friday for our sharing video, so send all those projectile launchers in. I will see you Friday. Goodbye, Ballington scientists and engineers.